Hello, everybody. We're here today with the Week 2 Power Rankings. Now, as usual, these are the objective standings coming out of Week 2. Um, there was 4, now there's only 2 undefeated teams. Your boy, and the Monroe Minans. We beat who do we beat? We beat the Conkelders and the Quaxleys. It's cool. It's cool. Quaxleys were undefeated, lost to me another 3-1. Bambinos went 0-2 this week. Tough week for them. Chase went 1-1 again. Woo went 2-0 this week. Yeah, Woo went 2-0 this week. So reverse of Bambinos. And then same with Chris. He went 2-0 this week. So Daddy Diglets and Arizona Ash Ketchum's on the rise. Love to see that. Last minute Linoons went 1-1 for the week. Sitting at 1-3. At least got their win though. And Carolina Conkelders still struggling to find their first win in the league. Looking tough for them. Hopefully they can turn around. And Garchomp Sharks, get into them in a little bit. But these are the objective standings coming out of week 2. There's a lot of good games. Really, a lot of people. I think Chris. I think Chris surprised me the most this week. He played very well. Um, and I think Chris was probably the person that performed. I mean, he went 2-0. But I think Chris really performed well this week. Who did he play? He played Chase and who else? Gabriel. With Chase and Gabriel, so uh, he had a really good game against Chase, and then he managed to find the win against Gabriel. So love to see that. So yeah, let's get into this. And like I said, all these games were great. Garchomp Sharks, talk about them a little bit at the end, but don't hold your breath on them. Alright, so 10, Garchomp Shark. Really, we'll get over it at the end. So uh, I'm skipping over them for now. Number 9, Carolina Conkelders. He brought some cool sets this week. He did bring the Subtoxic Protect on the Salazzle, and it actually did really well. It got the Vaporeon, Venusaur really weak. Just couldn't manage to capitalize it. Also, he brought the Throat Spray Unburden Selgor to outspeed Drill in the Sand, which is really cool to see. What else? And he finally brought Manaphy this week. So that was cool to see. But really the game just came down. The thing that surprised me the most was Preston. It was almost like Preston gave up before the game even started, because he didn't even bring the Politoed this week. He brought Mega Scizor, Manaphy, Salazzle Gudra, Aselgor, and Heliolisk. He completely gave up on the weather. I don't understand why. It's a weather game. Your rain, he's sand. You just gotta try and win the weather war. I mean, they play again later in the season, so hopefully we can see the weather war then. But I really don't know why Preston conceded the weather war. Like, it just in prep. If you let Wu just do his sand shenanigans, you're gonna lose. And yeah, you had the Aselgor, which did kill the drill. But imagine if you had Politoed and you had the Aselgor. Manaphy also had some more damage. Like, I really don't understand the thought process behind not bringing Politoed. Um, I mean, other than that, his other game was against me, which a little bit of a rough one for him. I'll be honest, but yeah. I mean, I think a little bit more due diligence and prep, and just just like some predictions he makes. Like he keeps his scissor in against the Flareon and just bullet punched it all 3 games. I'm pretty sure. Like number one, you're not killing a Flareon with a bullet punch. Even at Swords Dance, he only did 50%, so it's like you're not killing it, and it's one-shotting you. Just switch in to your Manaphy, switch into your Salazzle, switch into your Gudra. I don't understand. Very weird plays coming out of that. But again, hopefully he can work his way into his team a little bit more. Weather teams do take a little bit of a learning curve if you've never used them before, so a little unfortunate, but I got faith. Preston will make the rebound. He'll get his first dub coming up soon. And number 8. Um. Ooh. We'll do the last minute Linoons. Mnaz had a good week. He got 1-1 for the week. Actually, trying to think. Because Mnaz beat Gabriel but lost to Jace, or he lost to Tanner. And then who did Tabs play? Oh, I gotta see something really quick. Replays and results. They played Tanner, and then who did Tabs play this week? Tabs played JC. Then who do you play on Saturday? Tanner. So Tabs played Tanner and JC. Well, Mnaz did better in the week at 1-1, and Tabs went 0-2. I think Tabs had the harder schedule this week. He went up against Tanner and JC, so I was thinking about switching them, but I think Tabs had the harder week, which justifies it makes more sense why he went 0-2. So Linoons, I'm gonna keep you in 8th. I mean, his game against Tanner was weird. Not, I don't want to say weird. Let me pull up the replay. So like, there was a play in here where was it? So this is a weird play right here. Let's skip ahead. So right here, he U-turned out, didn't get the kill, unfortunate. But then he stayed in and ate a Woodhammer on Grimmsnarl and lost 42% of his health. Why didn't you just switch back into Zarude, let him die to Woodhammer recoil, and then Grimmy's at full, and then Zarude's at like 69%, because the other turn he just used it and did fit. Yeah. So he would have been sitting still at some good HP. Grimmsnarl would be healthier. I mean, if you value the health less on Grimmsnarl, I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. That was weird. This was another bad play. Again, didn't know, but still. Thunder waving him while he's in shields up. Sussy. But he made a really good rebound. He came into Duraludon, ate the EQ with the Reflect, and O-coded it. That was a great play. But he didn't... like, he sacked his whole team to Ryuga here, and then Alakazam outsped and killed it anyway. Like, why didn't you just calc the speed on this thing and save your Pokemon? Just look up what its speed can be, and once you find out what its speed can be, then you can figure out, okay, I outspeed it, I can kill it, I save Rhyperior and Zarude, we can win the game. Instead, he loses everyone, and then Blacephalon just comes in with the Scarf and kills it. That was a little weird. And then game 2, he had an absolutely massive lead. I think he was up like 5-2 at some point, and then he lost. So that was really tough to see. And that's had a really tough week. Did manage to get his first one against Gabriel in the guard jump shark, but um, yeah, just some questionable plays. But other than that, I mean, it's his first season. I don't want to harp on him too hard, but these are the power rankings, so I got to be honest. Honesty can hurt a little bit sometimes, but again, he's new. First season, literally his first 4 games of the season. I mean, don't see this as an issue. I mean, a lot of our new teams, the Linoons, the Shark, which I'll get to at the end of the video, the Diglets, they're all we're all at the lower end of the rankings for now, but expect to start seeing them coming up in the next 2-3 weeks. They're definitely gonna be up there for the playoff runs. I promise you that. All right. Coming up next. What is their rankings? Coming up next. It's gonna be the Brayloon Bambinos. Had a really tough week. Played Tanner, NJC. Um, I can't really remember how, like, if he played bad or not. Let me. I mean, he went down 0-2 to Tanner. I really don't remember his games for some reason. Went down 0-2 to JC. What was this? Okay, this game is a little sussy. I think was this the game where he shell smashed in front of the fucking? I don't know. Anyway, Tabs just had a very uh after his amazing week 1, had a very unfortunate week 2 to say the least. But again, he played against the 2 people that went to finals last season, so 2 of the best teams in the league. He had a very rough week, but again, he got his 2 of his hardest games. Well, 2 of the hardest teams, just from like history and how they've been playing. Um, he got them out in the beginning. So now later in the season, he only has to play them one more time, and then hopefully he'll be good for playoffs. So Bambino's had a tough week, but really don't see it as a concern. Really, I expect them to just bounce back and be all good. Next up is going. Who did Wu play? Wu played. Who did Wu play? Preston and Gabriel. He played Preston, Gabriel. I'm gonna put Chase here. Reason I'm putting Chase here, he went 1-1 for the week. So for the 2-2 teams, well, because Chris and Wu went 2-0, so yeah. So of the 2-2 teams, Chris and Wu definitely played the best, and Chase is definitely in the middle of the pack for the week. Chase, yeah, he played? He played Chris and Wu. He had a very good game against Wu. Lucario went absolutely goblin mode. Great matchup for Lucario. I'm glad he recognized it. Lucario did its thing, really did its job. But his game against Chris was so he brought Focus Sash Whimsicott with Endure so that hopefully he could endeavor the Charizard down to 1. He could endeavor the Charizard down to 1 HP with the Sash and attack. Then he could endure it and have Charizard die to recoil. But he didn't know that you can't take recoil damage if you don't do any damage. So, cool set, but should have practiced it first, made sure it worked before you go into game with it. So that was an unfortunate set. And also, he brought Substitute on Silvally and Latios against an Infiltrator Crobat. So you can imagine how that went. So yeah, just he brought some weird sets against Chris that didn't work. Obviously, that's the point of draft. You got to bring the weird sets, see if they work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. This time, it didn't. But again, Chase, not really concerned with. I mean, I'm concerned at the builds and the prep, but I'm really not concerned as him as a player. He plays fine. Um, he's only 2-2. Definitely. I mean, we're only week 2 out of what 9? Yeah, we're week 2 out of 9. Every team, even though you see some of these teams like Archon Shar, Carolina Conkelders, Last Minute Linoons, who are already kind of behind, with 7 weeks left, there's still more than enough time for them to make playoffs. Not really concerned. Um, Number 5, we're gonna give it to the Daddy Diglets. Um, Wu played really well this week. 2-0, but he likes to just switch in Excadrill to hits, and it gets down to like half HP or just straight insta dies. So that needs to stop happening. um, but other than that, he did play well. He did his sweeps with the drill, did his thing, did his Saiyan thing this week. Won the weather war against Preston, even though he didn't even bring Politoed. But the match of the weather, he won. And then his game against Gabriel, he won that as well. So good to see that. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what more to say. Then he played well and went 2-0 for the week. So now he's at 2-2. For the last of the 2-2 teams, got the Arizona Ash Ketchums. They played very well this week. Chris really impressed me, as I said. Went 2-0 like Woo, but he played very well. He played Gabriel, or no, I don't know who the fuck did Woo play for a second game. Let me see. He played Chase on Saturday and Preston on Sunday. Oh, so no, Woo played. Okay, never mind. I got it. Never mind. Um, I messed up. Gabriel and Woo played week 1. So Woo went 1-1 this week as well. I'm sorry, messed it up. But Arizona Ash Ketchums, the only 2-2 team to get the 2 dubs in a row, so he really rebounded from week 1. And his game against Chase, great set with the Crobat, Infiltrator, Brave Birds, go boom. And then who was his other game? He played Gabriel, and his game against Gabriel, very dominant, won that as well. Like I said, Chris had a very good week. Very good week. Because with all these teams, like really all of these teams right here, they're all within capability of beating each other, and that's what's exciting. And even then, for the top 3 teams, which we'll get into in a second, I really do think with some prep and just a little bit more experience, like once we get to that week 4, week 5, you're gonna start seeing a lot of these upset wins that maybe not make sense on paper, but with prep diff already playing people one time this season, so when we come back on the second round robin and people start getting those rematch grudge matches in, you're gonna start to see a lot of these upset wins, and I'm excited to see them. So definitely for these lower teams, do not count them out. They are gonna do their thing. They're cooking in the kitchen right now. Let them cook. Number 3 is gonna be the Queen City Quaxleys. So I finally faced JC, and while he still has more wins over me than I have over him, he beat me twice. He beat me once in the regular season, and then he beat me in the semifinals for playoffs. But I finally got my revenge on him. I was pretty confident going into this matchup, I'll be honest. Team is a little scary with the Mega Pinsir and shit like that, but with my team this season, I'm a lot more on an even playing ground against them. So I was pretty confident in my matchup, and I played very well. JC, he didn't. It's not that he played bad. It's just, I mean, I really don't like to stroke my cock. Not my kind of thing, but I was just kind of reading him all over the game. Like, I read him like a book. So, very tough game for him. But in his game against Emnes, played very well. Emnes made a couple mistakes here and there, and he capitalized on them, and he got the win. So, JC, it was like Chase last week, where he had a very dominant win, where he had a good win, but a bad loss. That's what JC was this week. He had a good win, then he had a bad loss. So, hopefully, next week, you can see the boy rebound a little bit. He'll be alright. Like I said, a lot of time left in the season. One loss ain't nothing. Number 2, Monroe Minans. Tanner go to a game 3 this week? I don't think he did. Yeah, he 2-0'd Tabs, and then he 2-0'd MNES. Yeah, Tanner didn't go to a game 3 this week. Very, very good showing. Reggie Drago, proven to be a threat. Probably going to have... he's up there in league kills right now. I think he's top 4, tied with 4th with Raikou. And yeah, just a quick glance at my sheet. I think Reggie Drago's tied in 4th for kills. So, very, very good showing of Reggie Drago. I'm surprised Mega Glade doesn't have any kills, but again, it's just the Reggie Drago mini show, I guess, this season. But he played well. I mean, not much to say. Undefeated. He's playing well. Who does he play this week? Let me pull it up on my phone. It's easier to see. Give me 1 second here. They play the Queen City Quaxleys and Garchomp Shark, which we'll get to in a second. So he's gonna get the finals rematch this week. I beat JC. Tanner has beat so Tanner versus JC. The record is 1-1. Tanner beat him in the regular season last season, but then he lost in the finals where it actually mattered. So this is gonna be game 3 of Tanner versus JC. Who will win? JC. Hopefully he can win so he can knock down Tanner off his undefeated record and your boy can keep his, but we'll see. That will probably be game of the week, to be honest. Game of the day or whatever it is, but that's going to be a really good game. And his game against Garchomp Shark, like I said, we'll get into in a minute, but should be a relatively easy win for him, and like I said, get into that in a minute. Number 1, like I said, I really don't like stroking my cock. I know that probably doesn't seem like it. You probably think I'm a narcissistic asshole because I keep putting myself in number 1 every week, but I'll show the proof, I will say. So a match against JC last season, both times our first game we played was close. I think he won 2-0 one game and then 3-0 the other, so they're sort of close. But our game in the playoffs, he kind of blew me out, I'm not going to lie. After game 1, I really got tilted, and I didn't know how to break down his team. And then I think he like 4-0 or 5-0'd me, and it was not good. JC kind of bozo checked me in the playoffs last year. I'm going to keep it a buck. But holy shit, he got... If I didn't Phantom Force in that game too, I would have double 6-0'd JC. Yeah. JC, like I said, I just expected everything he brought, except for like maybe 1 or 2 months. But even when he brought them, I kind of just knew what their sets were going to be. And I just played very aggro. Played a very... Like, I was just in his mind. I was reading his shit like a book. Played very well. And then my game against Preston, again, just... I played very well. I knew what the threats to assess were, and I broke them down. And if you guys still don't believe me that I don't deserve number 1 in the mine and should be number 1 this week, let me show some proof. My team has a total of 1, 3, 4, 5. Let me zoom in a little bit. My team has a total of 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. I have a total of collectively, with all my Pokemon together, I have a total of 9 deaths on my team, dog. We can look at some teams here. Some teams already have 9 deaths on their Pokemon. Goodra has 9. Mega Scizor has 9. Arcanine has 8. What else? Anything else have a close amount to that? Some 7s here. Like, my team is going, and what about the Shark? I guess it's a little spoiler from the video there. Oops. Shark, Milotic got hate. So, like, there's some Pokemon in the league that have as many deaths as my entire team does. And Raikou is on a 12 kill streak, bro. He's dropping Pavlos. Man is 12-0. And like I said, Dragapult, if I didn't Phantom Force, he would have gotten 3 more kills. He would have gotten 2 more kills, and he'd be 9-0 right now. So if I didn't make one misplay, Infernape would have 1 less death. I'd have 2 less deaths on my team because Infernape died because he didn't one-shot the Guzzlord and he got one-shot. But I'd have 2 less deaths on my team, so I'd be at 7 deaths, and I'd have a couple more kills on Dragapult instead of Raikou. So really, when you see these stats, I really want to see how you can justify putting the Monroe Minans over me. I've never been to a Game 3 yet this season. I've 2-0'd all 4 games I've had. I've 2-0'd. And again, simple math. I have 9 total deaths on my team, and I've played 8 games. I'm averaging, I mean, we can round up here, but I'm averaging like probably around a 4.6 to like a 5-0 every game I play. Last season, we didn't really see any teams dominate like that, really. This season, I'm coming out the gate with nuts to butt action. I'm going in this season. I'll be honest with y'all. I'm going in. I'm getting that chip. That way, when Scarlet and Violet come out, I can just draft what I like. Not say throw, but like this team. This is a championship caliber team. I think a lot of teams are. I think the Queen City Quaxies have a really good team. I think after dropping Donphan for Umbreon, the Minans covered up a lot of their weaknesses. Really, there's no team that on paper that I don't like. I'll be on. There's no team on paper I don't like. Obviously the weather teams will be a little sussy, but other than that, there's really, like I said, no teams I don't like. But my team fits my playstyle great. I love it. That's all I'm gonna say. Tanner, I'm putting myself over you. I don't care. But yeah, these are the power rankings for week 2. And as you just saw in the Google sheet, if you're paying attention, unfortunately, Gabriel has left the league in the Garchomp Shark. Just a couple things like last season with the New York Yampers and Herson. Just didn't expect it to be so competitive and expect it to be more relaxing, which, I mean, is fine. I mean, we're all friends, not really worried about it, but just different expectation than what reality was, so again, not really an issue. But to introduce our new team, the boy is Beekeeper's son, and his team is the Beedrill Bandits. So how it worked was I told him if you join the league, you'll be taking over Gabriel's team in record at 0-4, which sucks. But I allowed him to make any free agency moves he wanted to. Because again, I think it's fair that he takes the record. Because I mean, we can't just have him start over at 0-0 at week 3. So I mean, it was the only option. But we allowed him to make any and all free agency moves that he wanted. He decided to keep the not Mega. We banned that for a reason. He decided to keep the Metagross and the Dragonite, but everything else he got no. Basically clean house for the Shark roster. But his new team's looking pretty good. Mega Deontay, Dragonite, Amoonguss, Feraligatr, Metagross, Galvantula, Incineroar, Aerodactyl, Claydol, and Lapras. We'll pull this team up in Showdown. But this team is very, very scary. The only thing I will say that susses me out a little bit is that his only way of getting rid of hazards is Aerodactyl has defog, but how long in the game is it living to defog? You know what I mean? And Claydol with Rapid Spin, so he has two Pokemon. I mean, Claydol's a little bit more reliable than Arrow, but two Pokemon that aren't. I'm not saying they're bad. They do their jobs well, ish, for lower tier mons, but we saw Claydol last season on the Minun, so maybe it's not as bad as I think. And then he also has Magic Bounce. So again, I think with the Magic Bounce along with Arrow and Claydol, I think he'll be fine with Hazard removal. But what I'm really like seeing is Galvantula with this team. He can prevent hazards on his side, but he can get up the hazards, bro. He has T-Spikes on Amoonguss. He has Rocks with Metagross, Rocks with Arrow, Webs with Galvantula. Webs is just so good with this team. Webs helps out Metagross, helps out Dragonite, and it helps out the Gator. We saw the Galvantula Gator combo last season on the championship team with the Quaxleys, but he never really used Galvantula that much. So I'm really excited to see what the Bandits can do with Galvantula. I'm going to be straight up. If I didn't get Raikou, Galvantula is my backup. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what this roster can do. Again, new to league format, and doesn't have much experience to my knowledge. So, like some of these newer teams, like the Daddy Diglets, like the Bambinos, like the Linoons, it's gonna be some growing pains a little bit in the little first. While some of these teams already have 2 weeks of experience under their belt, 4 games. The Bandits, they're 2 weeks behind, but again, it's still early enough to where he can make a playoff race. Because again, it is top 6 again this season, and we did increase to 10 teams instead of 8. So 4 teams aren't making it to playoffs. Even if the Bandits don't make it to playoffs, I think just getting a couple wins here or there will just be good enough going into next season. Because going into next season, everyone's going to be new essentially. Because we're going to have new Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet that everyone's going to have to learn. There's probably going to be some new few abilities. A lot new typings in well, not new typings, but a lot new Pokemon with new typings. Some of the, not all, but it's confirmed that at least most of the Hisuian Pokemon are making it. So if something like Zoroark comes, that's going to be big for competitive. And if the new battle mechanic, which is basically just protein for your Pokemon, is introduced, we got to see if that's allowed in singles or not. If it is, we'll probably allow it. If it isn't, it's something we got to discuss as a league. So again, going into next season, there's going to be so many new things that it's pretty much going to cleanse the playing field for everyone, because everyone's going to have to learn what the new Pokemon do. Going to have to learn the new mechanic, what Pokemon can abuse it, what Pokemon can't. Going into next season, it's going to clear out everything, and really no one's going to, like, yeah, for the older Pokemon, you're going to have that advantage and knowing what they do. But really, going into next season, it's going to be so radically different that, like, it's going to really make the great teams a little bit worse. It's going to make the new teams, I wouldn't say a little bit better, but it's going to keep them where they are, if not a little bit better, because maybe they'll learn what the new Pokemon do faster. It's really going to even out the playing field. And again, even if the Bandits don't imagine to make playoffs, if they just get a couple wins here or there, get that experience under their belt, then going into next season with the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon, I really do see them doing well. Yeah. These are the power rankings, of course. These are the objective standings coming out of week 1. Yeah. And then these are the power rankings. Garchomp Shark, their last week, getting replaced by the Beedrill Bandits. We'll see how that goes. Carolina Conkelders still struggling to find their first win in the league, but again, I think with a little bit of better prep and a little bit of better plays during game, that can be turned around. Linoons are off to some rough starts, but did manage to go 1-1 this week, so hopefully next week we can see a 2-0, even out that record of 3-3. Be pretty solid. Bambinos fall from grace, 0-2 this week, but early. Played two of the hardest teams in the league. Not really much to worry about. Definitely can bounce back next week. Hartsville Hitmontops. They had a little bit better prep against Chris. Potentially go 2-0. Daddy Diglets. Good week. Went 1-1, but they're keeping it consistent. If he keeps going 1-1, he's not going to be at the top of the standings, but it might just be good enough to secure him a playoff spot. Because again, top 6, usually once you get around this, once you usually get to like the 7, 8, 9s, that's usually where people start having losing records. So at least if you stay even, might be good enough to make playoffs. We'll have to see as the season goes out. Arizona Ash Ketchum's absolutely stellar week, I'll be honest. Kind of wanted to put him above JC, but I'll keep it like this for now. Chris really did play well. Very impressed with him this week. Can't wait to see Zardex hit fucking 30 kills next week. Queen City Quaxley's got my win over him, but he got his win over Mnaz. Gets his finals rematch with Tanner. We'll see who wins. Tanner, pretty solid week. Not really much to say. And again, finals rematch with JC, so we'll see if the Minans get revenge for the finals, or JC will say El Bozo, and your boy still undefeated, and hopefully we can keep it going. So yeah, these are the power rankings. Tomorrow I will make the predictions. This video is a little bit longer because I had to go over the Garchomp Shark scenario and introduce the Beedrill Bandits, but again, excited to see what the new team can do. Very threatening team. I really don't know how Mega Deoncy didn't get drafted either season. But yeah, that's the video. We'll be back tomorrow with the predictions. Goodbye.